Hi everybody! If you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I'm a gut health nutrition coach and I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues using the principles of ancestral nutrition as well as some other holistic health principles. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 4 keys to gaining weight in a healthy way that makes you feel and look good. So if you currently are underweight, whether that's from an eating disorder, from having really bad gut issues, or for any other reason, if you're just underweight right now, you are skinny, people are always telling you you're so lucky that you're skinny, but on the inside you're thinking, actually, I'd rather gain a little bit of weight. I don't like being this thin. Or if you're like that, or if you are a healthy weight but you just want to put on more muscle, or if you're a woman and you just want to be a little curvier, less thin, then this video is for you, because I'm going to be talking about how to put weight on in that healthy way so that you don't accidentally gain fat in kind of the wrong places, but you are really building your physique the way that you want to. So that you can be more confident and happy in your body. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today, the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you, these 4 keys, are what has helped a lot of my clients and friends as well. So my client Will, when we started working together, was 130 pounds, and in 4 months he gained 15 pounds and went up to 145 pounds. He was weightlifting at the same time, so a lot of that was, muscle mass that he put on, but he was just so much happier to weigh a little bit more after being chronically sick and thin for so long. This also actually helped my boyfriend. He was 155 pounds and in about roughly a year and a half got up to 222 pounds. So that was through weightlifting as well, and that was quite the bulk, and then has since cut back a little bit to 208. But yeah, these principles helped him to put on weight too. And then they also helped my client Elizabeth to put on several pounds, and she said to me that she finally had hips, and she was so excited about that and just felt so much more confident in her body. So yeah, if this is what you're looking for, then this video is for you. Before I get too far into the video though, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't know already, I have a free training all about how to heal your gut issues by getting your digestive system to work like an efficient machine. So if you haven't checked that out already, I'll leave a description or a link down below where you can go check it out, and I'll also talk more about it at the end. But yeah, back to the video. So the very first key is going to be strength training with progressive overload. So this is really going to help you put on weight in the way that you want to. Even if you're thinking, like, if you're a woman and you're like, I don't know if I care about muscle. When women put on muscle, they look more feminine. When men put on muscle, they look more masculine. So if you are strength training, eating a little bit more and putting on a little bit of weight in a muscle mass kind of way as a woman, you're going to look curvier, and it's really just going to make sure that that weight you're gaining is going to the right areas so that you look better and feel more confident and you're more firm and toned. And then if you're a man wanting to put on muscle, this is kind of obvious that you're going to have to strength train. I mentioned progressive overload too, because it's not enough to just lift the same weight all the time. You have to increase that weight, increase the reps, increase the intensity in some sort of way in order to promote more and more muscle growth. So strength training is going to be really important. This is also going to help you stimulate your appetite. So if one of the reasons that you haven't gained the weight that you want to is because you're just not hungry, weightlifting will help. I know from experience, I used to be really skinny, and when I started weightlifting, my appetite increased a lot and I was able to put on a lot more muscle mass. So it really helps you in that way. That's pretty much the first key. I think you kind of get the gist. So the second one is to heal your gut and any underlying health problems you have. So if you've got gut issues and you're constipated and backed up and feel all full, or if your abdomen hurts and you get pain and cramps and uncomfortable feelings, you're all gassy, bloated, you're not going to have the same appetite as somebody that doesn't have gut issues. I know, I've been through this too. I had a very low appetite when my gut issues were really bad. So if you want to gain that healthy weight, you do really want to heal your gut first. It will be a lot easier. You can do some of this simultaneously, but just realize that healing your gut will help so much. My client Will that I mentioned earlier, we healed his gut first before he put on that weight. So he used to have diarrhea, chronic stomach pain, and cramping, and he had that for years. He reacted to a lot of different foods. So we really worked on healing his gut first. And yeah, we started working together a year ago, October of last year. And then it took 3 months till he totally overcome his gut issues. And then in the next 4 months is when he put on the 15 pounds while he was weightlifting at the same time. Yeah, so healing first made it so much easier for him to have an appetite and be able to actually eat, have the energy to weightlift, and, you know, really give it his all. So yeah, if you got any kind of chronic issues, it will really benefit you to work on healing those at the root. You can simultaneously work on, you know, increasing your weight a little bit, but it will be a lot easier and come a lot quicker the more that you heal. Okay, so the third one is to manage stress and to relax right before you eat. So some people stress eat, but people can also stress not eat. So I used to have a lot of issues with this when I had gut issues, is I would get stressed and worried, and my stomach would just like sink and turn off. It would just be like not operational at this moment. And it's a very real thing. So if you feel like stress is inhibiting you from eating, that is very, very common. So if you are stressed, that's something you're going to want to pay attention to. And another thing is, when you go to eat, you want to be relaxed. When you are stressed, you're in the sympathetic nervous system, and basically all your energy and blood and nutrients go away from your digestive tract and into those areas that would help you in a fight or flight situation, you know, where you're in danger. But we don't want that while you're eating. You want to eat when you're in the parasympathetic state, which is also called the rest and digest state. So that's when all the blood and nutrients and energy flows into your digestive system, and you can actually break down food properly, absorb nutrients, and not get any of those symptoms from poor digestion. So if you're feeling stressed, you're really going to want to look into that more and working on healing that at the root, and, you know, not getting stressed throughout the day. I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, that is really going to be something that's important to work on. And then, yeah, when you go down to eat, make sure you're relaxed. Sometimes I just like to take a few deep breaths. If you are feeling like kind of anxious and not relaxed and you're having trouble relaxing, something I've done before is stopped my work or chores or whatever, started doing something relaxing, like watching something or reading or sitting outside, and then your body can kind of catch up and go, oh, okay, now I feel ready for food. So it can be beneficial to wait till you feel ready to eat. I found that's very helpful. Anyway, so that's the third one. I know it sounds simple, but it really makes a huge difference. Okay, the last one is going to be the most obvious, and there's also going to be a lot of like sub tips under this, but it's going to be to eat more. If you want to be bigger, you have to eat more. So one thing with this is you really want to listen to your body. You don't want to force it. I have so many clients that are under eating when we start working together, and you know, some of them want to gain weight, some of them want to maintain weight. Either way, you gotta start eating more, and if your goal is to maintain, you just do it very slowly so that your metabolism catches up, and if your goal is to gain, you go a little bit quicker. But anyway, when I see a lot of my new clients' food logs, I'll tell them like, hey, I'd like to see you eating a little bit more. So think about that as a long-term goal, is starting to increase your portions, but make sure you listen to your body, because you don't want to force it. And as you heal your gut, as you heal your digestion, you will get hungrier and be able to do this naturally. So think about it that way. It is a process. You don't want to just start forcing a bunch of food down. Instead, you want to gradually increase that and really listen to your body. You really should never be like force feeding yourself. Okay. The next little tip under eating more is you want to keep your meals balanced macro-wise. That means you want fat, carbs, and protein in your meals. This will make them really satiating, which is really important. Yeah, and it'll make sure you're getting your nutrients in, and this will help you to avoid putting on fat in ways you don't want to. So for me, when I was vegetarian and started eating more because I had started weightlifting, I was having a lot of fat and carbs and not enough protein. And my body really wanted that protein, and protein is very satiating. So I wasn't getting that satiation, and I really needed the protein. So my cravings just went up, my appetite went up, and then I ended up eating a lot more carbs and fat proportionally than the protein, you know, like too much. And that led me to gain some excess fat that I did not want in like my stomach area. Also, when I was keto, I was eating lots of protein and fat and practically no carbs. I also struggled here because my metabolism went down from not having as much carbs. And yeah, so I actually put on weight that way too. So I think a balanced macro approach, in general, people are different, you know, but generally speaking, having the protein, fat, and carbs with each meal will help you to stay satiated from the fat and protein. It will help you get all your nutrients in, because different macros actually have different micros that they're higher in, you know, like fat has vitamin A, D, E, and K are fat soluble, so you need fat to get those in. And you know, there's more little caveats here, but anyway, so it will help you, and then having that little bit of carbs will help kind of keep your metabolism up. So yeah, so that will help you to not gain excess fat by keeping your macros balanced. Okay, so also I'd recommend about 3 to 5 meals a day. 2 can also work just fine. 3 to 4 is my favorite, but everyone's a little different. So if you're thriving on 2 or 5, go for it. You want to keep these equal sized, and you want to keep them about 3 hours apart, and you want to eat around the same time. All of those will help you to be hungrier for your meals. If you're eating around the same time, your body's going to predict that more and get hungrier at those times. You want to portion them evenly or relatively. You could do kind of 3 meals and 1 snack, and then space them out more evenly, because if you're trying to eat more and that's a little harder, it's just going to be easier if you don't have like a massive meal you have to stuff in at the end of the day. So yeah, generally I would aim to have them a little more even. Also, if you're really struggling to eat more, you can always drink some of your calories. So milk is amazing for this. A full 16-ounce glass of milk is 300 calories right there. So milk is great. It's super nutritious as well, and it's very balanced macro-wise, so it's a really easy thing to just add in. You can use juice. Just make sure you're having protein at the same time so you don't get a big blood sugar spike, and make sure it's good quality. Bone broth, anything kind of like that. I guess those are going to be more like calorie rich ones. You can make smoothies too, that's fine. But yeah, so that's going to be easier. And then you can also choose more calorically dense food. So fat is very calorically dense. So things like avocado or cheese or milk or lots of dairy, all of that is going to be really calorically dense. So that can help you to get in some extra calories if you're really struggling. Don't overdo the plant foods. Like a huge plate of veggies will kind of fill your stomach, but it won't be as many calories. So that's not going to help you when your goal is to gain weight. And then if you have those gut issues on top of that, if you're stuffing a bunch of plants, it's just not going to work well. You're going to do better with a little bit more animal foods. Okay, you also want to eat warm, easy to digest foods. It's just going to be a lot easier on your body, a lot easier to get down than a bunch of raw, cold foods. Eat foods that you like. It's going to be really hard to eat more and to eat enough food to gain weight if you don't like the foods you eat. So make sure you really enjoy your meals. There is so many healthy foods out there. All of my clients eat differently. No one eats the same because everyone likes different foods. Some people like tons of brisket. Some people like more chicken. Some people like to cook a bunch from scratch. Some people like to keep things simple. There's so many options of healthy foods. It's not about kale salads and quinoa and stuff I don't even like I don't think most people even like that much. So, you know, you can eat lots of delicious healthy foods. You can have bacon and eggs, you can have steak and roasted veggies, you know, there's so many options. So make sure you like the foods you're eating. You can also add a dessert, a healthy dessert. That can be a really easy way to get a little bit of extra calories in. So what I like is raw milk, like dark chocolate or little dark chocolate treats that don't really have sugar in them or are very mild in their sweetener. Fruit, and I like dates with butter in them and some salt. So anything kind of like that, think milk, dark chocolate, fruit, stuff like that, is going to be a great little healthy dessert. Those are actually nutritious foods too, so you're not just having empty calories, and that's really important. You do want to keep your foods healthy. But yeah, so that's another thing that can be really helpful, and you do want to space that or just have it right after dinner. Oh, and tea is really nice with that too. You can track your foods, you can track your macros if you want, if you find it helpful. It's totally up to you. If you are going the more bodybuilding route, wanting to gain a lot of muscle, that's a great idea. It's an excellent tool. I tracked for a while weightlifting. I mean, I still weightlift, I just don't track anymore. But yeah, that's super helpful. It's optional though, so it's up to you if you find that helpful or not. You can also just write down what you eat, or you can track the macros. And then tracking your weight is super helpful. I would recommend tracking your weight. If you don't have a scale or you're really opposed to it, you don't have to, but it can help you, just as long as you're not like obsessing over it, just checking in on your weight every day or a few times a week can just kind of help you know where you're at. You can also look in the mirror. I personally just find the scale a lot more helpful for me, and it helps me to make those minor little tweaks and make sure I'm going at a pace I want. So that can also help you to make sure you're putting on weight in the right way and not gaining extra fat that you don't want to. So I do recommend weighing yourself. It's totally up to you. I just think it's a really helpful practice. Yeah, and then I just want to add for the food part, my client Will, the one who put on 15 pounds in 4 months, he said that having milk, potatoes, and a fourth meal really, really helped him with this. So, you know, that's what he found helpful. Everyone's a little different, but hopefully out of all of those tips for eating more, you get a little bit more of a sense of how you can practically include more food, but also keep it really healthy and nourishing. And yeah, if your digestion feels a little funky, how you could just kind of squeeze a little bit more in there. Yeah, so I hope you found that helpful. Just to recap, those 4 keys to putting on weight in a healthy way are going to be doing strength training with progressive overload, so increasing the intensity, healing your gut issues and any underlying problems that you have. The third one is managing stress and being relaxed when you eat. And then the fourth one was just eating more. Yeah, so I hope you found that helpful. And at the beginning, I talked about that I have a free training on how to heal your gut by getting your digestive system to work like an efficient machine. So if you're interested in that, this is a video that is longer than my YouTube videos, and it goes more in depth into what you actually need to do step by step to heal your gut and really get your digestive system functioning well. So I cover in that training the 5 keys to a successful gut healing routine. I talk about the importance of a personalized, sustainable, and nourishing diet and exactly how you can create that for yourself. I also talk about how you can have bowel movements effortlessly and daily. And then I go over the most common mistakes I see people make when trying to heal their gut so that you don't have to make those mistakes and you can know them before you make them. So yeah, if you want a video that's more in depth, that's really a training on the first kind of the outline of how to heal your gut, then I think you'd really enjoy this. It's very, very helpful. I give you a lot of free, great info. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave the link down below. You can click that link and get access to the training. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. If you liked it, like the video, you can comment below. I always love reading your guys' comments. And if you know anyone that would benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. All of that helps me out a lot.